Previously on Pretending with Dice.
Pronce don't run. Oh, natural. 20, 25.
First roll of the night starts you.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah.
What's happening? What's up? How's your day going?
Well, pretty shit, you ask me.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, drinks for everyone. I'd like to wink at the barmaid and say, 2 coppers for you two, love. Buy yourself something nice.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Pretending with Dice. As always, I'm your host and game master AJ. So this episode 5, is the penultimate one in our first story arc. I hope you've all been enjoying it so far, but for those of you who've just tuned in for the first time, welcome along. To get caught up with the story and to meet our players and their characters, I'd recommend jumping back to episode 1. But yeah, welcome. One last announcement, in a couple of episodes' time, after this story arc is wrapped up, we'll be doing something a little bit different. Episode 7 is going to be a bit of a sort of post-mortem kind of look back at this first story arc. Me and Jason and Eden and Mark are just going to be kind of chatting about it and that. It hasn't really been mentioned before, but this first story arc is actually the first time these guys have ever played an RPG like Dungeons & Dragons or anything like that, so some good conversation to be had there. We'll also be doing a bit of a Q&A in that episode, so if you have any questions that you want us to answer, you can send them to us via Twitter, Facebook, or email at pretendingwithdice@outlook.com. So yeah, before we get into this episode, let's have a brief recap of what happened last time. Our characters, Pronce, Bork, and Enothe, having learned all that they could from Martin Sommerfeld, the father of the first of the missing town children, decided to venture out of town to an abandoned farm near the forest's edge. Finding a boarded-up windmill that had a good view of both the town and the forest, Enothe decided to kind of keep watch while the other two returned to town. Meeting a hunter along the way, Bork and Pronce decided to accompany him to the pub, and after a couple of drinks, they learned that the goblins that they'd fought before were really only a small part of a larger group that had taken up residence in the forest around the town. Deciding that their investigation was probably leading them towards these goblins, they took a short rest until sunset before heading into the swiftly darkening forest. So yeah, thanks again for listening. Let's jump back into it. Okay, for the sake of brevity, it's you guys wake up again. It's now fully dark, and you are fully prepared for a stealth mission for the woods.
Have I seen anything at all?
Not really. No.
So
actually, make a perception check.
Like town lights gone out, that sort of thing?
Well, the other way, really. I mean, lights have come on.
12.
12. Yeah, you don't. I mean, the lights. You see some sort of lights coming from the town as people are striking candles and things and that, but like
Nothing
it's pretty dark.
Forest.
Yeah, nothing from the forest really.
Okay.
No, not from the angle you can see it at anyway.
Okay. Let's go to the forest then.
Let's go back to the spot we met that guy at,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll try and retrace his steps.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll go back out to the forest, and then how are we going to follow this? Because I've got, in terms of following trails and what have you.
That would be a survival check,
Okay.
which is it falls under that sort
I've
of
got
tracking
+2
and things
survival.
like
I feel like a good start is going to be that we know where this guy was coming from, so let's see if we can follow his trail and see if there's anything that's
Yeah, that makes sense.
down here.
Okay.
that. Yeah.
+2 survival is mine, so
I've got
anybody
+1. I've got +1, so
+1?
you're the best person.
0.
I mean,
Okay.
you can all do it. It doesn't matter if
Oh,
who's got the
scratch.
highest. I mean, you can.
We could all
yeah.
look, yeah. I
Should
suppose.
we roll and see if any of
Yeah.
us can actually get...
Okay, well, you quite easily find your way to where you saw the guy coming out of the woods, so that's not really a problem. You've kind of gone a little bit further west. You kind of come to the edge of the woods, and it's very dark among the trees from where you're stood at the edge. But yeah, so you can look for tracks if you would like.
Okay.
Go for it.
I feel like we might need a source of light here, generally.
No.
You know what I'm thinking?
I can see.
Why?
My elf eye.
True,
my elf
you can
eyes
see and I can't.
Have you got dark vision?
I
bring you.
think so.
I think you have. Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of being an elf, if I remember.
You've either got dark vision or low light vision. I don't know.
Keen senses, dark vision.
Dark vision. Yeah. So you can see in the dark. It all looks black and white, but you can see as if it was a sort of.
So that was an in-character interaction there. The suggestion for light and
no,
like, we don't need this.
Yeah, that was in character. Yeah.
You can see in the dark as if it's a dimly lit room.
Cool.
Okay. Alright, well, do you want to roll first then? As you're the one that's sort of like... Me and Bork are kind
Probably
of like
makes
squinting
sense.
in the dark here.
Yeah, I mean, for you two, it would, if you're not going to set a light, it would be... that was a poor choice of words. If you're not going to make a light source...
Have you got a torch or anything that you can use? I don't want to give away our position.
I don't have a torch, but I feel like there might be a tree branch or something nearby that I could probably...
Well, I'll have a look, and then if we need it...
We'll make a judgment call based on what you find.
The two of you who can't see in the dark, it would be you'd be rolling with disadvantage to see if you can find tracks, but like for you it's just normal.
I'll never look then.
Go for it.
We got 12.
12.
Survival.
I mean, there's not really footprints or anything, but you can kind of, after some thinking, sort of see a way through the woods that would maybe be the most likely way that the hunter came from.
Okay.
Sort of, not really a trail as much, but like a sort of slightly easier path, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll there's this. I've seen. There's a path that is probably where he came from.
Lead the way then.
Yeah.
Let's
You
go.
guys stay close, and I'll lead you.
Yeah.
So we follow the path.
Okay. So after, I mean, it's pitch black at this point. It doesn't take long as you get among the trees before you can't even see the lights of the town behind you. You can see the trees are, as if you're walking around in the dark in the woods. Your eyes have adjusted a bit, but it's quite difficult to see any good distance. It does seem to strike you that a lack of wildlife noise after a little while.
Eerily quiet.
Eerily quiet for a while. I mean, you've travelled a little bit. You've kind of heard, you've been in the woods at night. You can hear birds. You can hear sort of deer moving around and things. It's not a silent place really, and this does seem a little eerily quiet on that side of things.
Okay.
Like we're being watched.
Can I get a perception check from anyone who wants to make one?
Yeah. 13.
13.
Constantly middle of the road.
Either of you two want to make one as well, or
I will make one. I've got +4, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 0, so it's
17, so 21.
21.
For me.
Okay, that's pretty good. So after about 10-15 minutes of walking, you're not walking particularly quick, obviously, because you're keeping the light source down. You do actually seem to notice a sort of dim glow just coming from the north.
Do you see that, guys, on the horizon to the north?
the warm glow of fire. Yeah, just
It may well be. I have a feeling.
Affinity for finding
And if
fire.
it's not fire,
it will
it
be.
will soon.
we
perhaps
can change that.
capitalize.
Yeah.
We should definitely head towards that.
Yes, let's go in that direction, gentlemen.
stealthily, I
Okay.
guess.
Yeah. Are you
Stealthily.
picking? Are you just sort of stomping forward, or you're still?
How far away are we at this point, shall we say? Is it really just like the dimmest light?
Yeah,
on
you
the
can't see a
horizon,
source. You can see. I mean, you're surrounded by trees, so it's not like you're seeing a lit up sky or anything. It just like in one direction, it does seem there's a dim light coming from somewhere.
So let's
We'll get
approach
to
for
it.
now, and then make a decision perhaps once we can see some more.
That's a
Sure.
very logical point, Pronce.
Yes.
Scary.
I don't know what's happening today.
I fear for all of us.
Beer helped.
Yeah, the beer does seem to calm Pronce down a little bit, even him out of it.
So we'll
Cool.
make our approach.
Okay, you're not stealthing then just the second, or are you?
I'm content to approach unless Enothe wants to stealth it up as the one of us that can skulk about. What have you?
I'm going to stealth it up anyway.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Make a stealth check for me.
We got 18.
18. Okay. Yeah. You don't have any trouble kind of blending into the shadows and that.
Bork, where did he go?
Hold me.
It's dark and I can't see him anymore. What's happened?
Well, let's just keep going. I think he knows what he's doing, and he doesn't really want to, hang out with us.
You're still stood right next to them. Like, you hear him say this.
You guys are idiots.
What?
Oh yeah.
Just keep heading towards the glow. I'm going to go up ahead.
That bush is talking.
Oh,
I'm going to carry on ahead. You guys keep heading towards the glow.
hold me, Apollonia.
Yeah, let's keep walking then, and let's reach the outer area and peer in on what's going on.
Sure. So after a couple more minutes, it does seem to resolve. Like, you can start to make out in the darkness kind of like a bit of a kind of ridge through the trees. Like the ground is definitely sort of sloping up on one side, and the light does appear to be coming from sort of just round the other end of the hill, and it does seem to be it's starting to look more and more like a kind of firelight sort of quality to it, and you start actually, can I get another perception check? I keep doing this, I keep giving it away, I keep start saying things and then I'm being like, well, maybe they wouldn't hear it.
I got 8.
It's alright.
Plus 4, 12.
40. I got 17.
17. Okay, so you're kind of sneaking a little bit ahead anyway. You start to hear sort of sounds of life a little bit. You can definitely sort of see that it's got the sort of flickering quality of like maybe a campfire light at this point. And as you approach, keeping it stealthy, you do start to get a view that maybe it's just from the general sort of sounds and, to be honest, the smells, that this could be the goblins you were thinking about looking for.
Okay, it looks like we found our quarry, gentlemen.
Are we still in
You're still
talking distance of
I mean,
stealth boy over
if
here?
you spoke softly, you'd be stealthing up.
Okay.
But you've kind of gone a little bit ahead,
I'm
Enothe.
going to double
But you
back.
can you can double
So
back.
let them know
Yeah.
what I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, I know.
So long as you didn't start shouting, you wouldn't be. You would guess that maybe you're kind of.
Hey guys, found the goblins.
Hey, you guys!
Yeah, you could talk softly and not give yourselves away at the distance you're at.
Okay.
Okay, so it looks like the goblins are up ahead from what I can hear. I think we should try to approach from different directions and try and flank them.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Okay.
If I heard that correctly, they're just around the crest of a hill, let's say.
There's a sort of hill, kind of ridge, sort of up ahead. Like you can just sort of see through the darkness, the ground sloping away, and it's outlined a little bit by the glowing light. So you could guess that it is kind of just round the hill.
Okay. So is there elevated ground that one of us could perhaps move to?
Not easily.
Not easily.
No.
Bork, I forget what your equipment is.
Not without approaching at an angle that you think would be a little dangerous for where
I
they're
was
at.
just curious if you had a bow and arrow or something. But
I'm
it
still
doesn't
stealth,
look
can't
like.
I?
You are. I mean, yeah.
Could I sneak over there?
Yeah, you could sneak over and take a closer look if you wanted.
Could I sneak to the ridge to have a vantage point?
Sure.
It's risky. I'm not saying we should definitely do this. Like, we're just in the strategy phase.
I like the idea.
Yeah.
Because I think that maybe having one person fire something from one angle and then...
Oh, you're thinking you would have rained fire down.
Well, I wasn't going to say that specifically. I
Not
was
in so
saying
many words.
bow and arrow first.
I mean, I've got 10 torches. Torches as in like flaming torches.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically carrying around a bundle of sticks, but like
What
kind
if
of.
we lit one and I throw it and in the opposite direction of you guys, so it alerts their presence
A
away?
decoy.
That'd be a good opening.
decoy.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, can I go for that?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
We can set up an ambush.
Yeah.
Is this the area you have a map for, or are we in uncharted territory right now?
I definitely made a map. Whether it's.
Are we off the map at the moment?
You might be off the map at the moment.
Okay.
Quickly draw something in.
It's fine.
I just don't want to throw too much at you at once where it's like, and now you have to imagine
How
the
many
entire
spaces we're
goblin
walking.
camp or whatever.
No, I've got the goblin camp. It's
Yeah,
just.
it's just like you guys are fucking scumbags.
I got the camp mapped out perfectly well. It's
Now you're
it's the can we go up on the ridge above the camp that's really getting me like, oh god, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, like my throwing distance.
I've
for
played
example.
too many tactical RPGs.
I know.
Elevations
I did-
definitely
yeah,
get advantage.
I have the high ground.
It's my own fault.
You're the chosen one.
No, I'm not going to stop you doing anything if you want to do
Okay.
it, but I just don't have that bit mapped out, so you're going to have to be a bit more use your imagination.
Right.
Should I go up the high ground to be able to throw further?
I
Does that
feel
not
like-
matter so much.
I don't think you need to throw it far. I actually think the best thing to do is to stick a torch in the ground
Keep
and
it
light
quiet.
it,
Okay.
and then we can
And then
back
we'll
away.
go
from
around.
it.
I have a perfect solution. My
This guy
familiar
is good.
Apollonia can cast my spells. So we could take cover, Bork and I, while you, Enothe, get on top of a ridge.
Fucking
worst.
Well, you get up on the ridge. We've already seen your sniping skills, so
Yeah.
I've faith in you, Enothe.
I suppose the only shot that you guys saw was me actually headshotting the one goblin that came out.
Yeah.
So I've absolute faith that as our marksman, you would be the one that's best up on that. And once my familiar has set the distraction alight,
You can cast a spell with the range of touch through it. You can't use it as a mobile turret.
okay.
So, like, if you have a
Could
spell that's
I
like...
though then use firebolt at touch range to have Apollonia on top of the torch basically, and then
No, the spell range has to be touched, like...
bombs.
So, like, for instance, like...
Can we not kill the dove?
How dare you even suggest such a thing?
Can we no? Could we
Purify
not?
yourself in the waters
Could
of
you
Lake
not set
Minnetonka.
fire to your own dove?
Well, for instance, like, I'm talking about...
Right, I take
No,
it
I'm
back.
not you not to. I'm not suggesting it.
Can I set fire to my dove and then put grease on it and
Well, just an example to as the touch thing. Like spells like enhance ability, range touch would normally mean like you cast the spell through touching someone, whereas something like firebolt has a range of 120 feet.
I see.
It's not got the range of
I was
touch.
just
Like it's
thinking-
literally like spells that require you to be touching. You can cast through the familiar.
But then within the range of 120 feet, does that not include walking directly up to a person, putting your hand on them and setting them on fire?
Not really. Like that. That's like the. I think you're trying to you're trying to find a loophole that isn't here on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll stop trying to make this work.
I'm not. Yeah, just in terms of like.
Okay,
it's meant to be like you can have your. If you had to cast Cure Wounds on someone and you had to be touching, I think Cure Wounds is one, but there's definitely a healing one that you need to be touching, and you couldn't get to them. You could get your familiar to land on them and cast it through them, but you can't have it. I think that's just generally written like that to stop you having your familiar flying around casting ridiculous fireball spells at people. You know, that's
would be hilarious.
It would kind of be a case of like, I sit behind a tree and go into Apollonia, I fly 20 feet into the air and rain fire on
exactly.
people.
Yeah, see, that's a little bit overpowered, really, for a first level spell.
Okay.
You know.
Right, so let's just adjust our tactics then. So
Fine. I think so we set fire.
let's set fire to the torch.
We can set fire
first,
to the
and then
torch.
you can throw a Bork.
Well, no. I think it's best to stick it in the ground. That way we can just surround it.
But how are we going to set fire to it though? Unless it's sort of like it's so.
At the risk of being too sensible here, I have a tinder box, so I can actually just set fire to it.
So
Yeah,
so we got order of events. You're going to run out somewhere nearby, somewhere that's going to like pull their attention away from where
we are now. If we can see their light, they'll be able to see ours. So the second the fire goes up, they're going to come and investigate it.
Okay.
And it probably won't be all of them, which means we can pick off a few of them before attacking the main camp.
So you're going to run off and do that, and then you're going to scurry up to the vantage point from there.
I think we just surround the torch.
We surround.
So we stay out of sight, so we make sure we're all hidden.
I see.
And then we
I
can
see.
attack them as they investigate the torch.
Sounds as good a plan as any.
Okay.
Bork's is down for this.
He's just up for
I
stuff.
just want some torch action.
Hot torch
Action.
torch on goblin action.
I got Tinder box as well, actually. I'm impressed that Tinder was around.
You know, swipe left on that box.
Hey.
That's what they call cell phones these days.
Well,
Okay, let's
Okay,
do this.
so what are you doing?
Torching. Let's follow that plan. So,
Okay, I'm going to run up and see if I can see
Just have a bit of a look.
roughly what we're up against.
Okay. You two stay in here.
oh yeah.
Sure.
I'm going to talk
Telling them to stay.
In fact, while this is happening, I'll fly up I'll have a brief moment of going into Apollonia if I can.
Okay.
And we'll just fly up so that I'm sort of
You
like...
mean magically, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm not entering Apollonia. I'm not going to molest the dove in front of you guys.
I don't like the qualifier on that.
You invited it. So while he's going off in that direction, I want to go up like high enough that like perhaps I'm not necessarily going to be spotted so easily, just to get a look down at a
Okay,
area.
so I mean, there's quite thick tree cover, but you could sort of go between branches and things and get a little bit of a bird's eye
Maybe
view.
I can roost in a tree up above.
I don't think they're going to notice a dove.
Yeah.
Although there's not much wildlife.
No, it's up to you.
I'm staying quiet as the dove. I'll fly above you. I just want to see myself. I'm bored of hearing your descriptions. I want to see this for myself.
Sure. Okay. So you move a little bit closer, followed by the dove, and between the two of you, you're able to make out in a small clearing, kind of at the foot of this hill, there is a cave entrance, which is very dark inside. You can't see anything in that. But in front of the cave, there's a large fallen tree. The other side of which is a blazing campfire. Around the campfire, you can see several goblins. What looks to be a couple of larger than... they look related, but larger sort of beings, you know, that are kind of... they're, again, tooled up with weapons and things, but they seem to be sort of have picked out the best spots around the fire, sort of thing. Goblins are kind of spread out over a little distance. They're not kind of huddled together at all, right? Some of them are around the fire, some of them are just sort of seem to be trying to nap beneath trees and stuff. And there's you can also see a big pile of like deer bones and things. And just the area in general has been torn up pretty badly. It's kind of it's a bit of a mess there. You know, they're not exactly taking care of the environment, really.
We've got maybe an approximate number of
better numbers.
beasties or what have you.
Yes. I wrote it down because I prepared. You'd guess maybe 6 goblins and 2 of the larger things.
Okay.
So actually, that depends. Can I get just a general? I guess this would be just a general intelligence check to see if you recognise the larger things. Because you know what the goblins are at this point. You've seen them around.
Okay, so that's D20. Yes.
Yeah. So and then just add your intelligence modifier to it. Oh, that's not good.
My intelligence is 16.
So +2.
Plus 3.
+3. Okay.
But I got a 5, so I'm not really very intelligent about this with an 8.
You're a little bit out of your element while a dove. They just look like, to you, you can see the sort of special relation, but you can't quite place what they might be.
Okay.
Can I try as well?
Yeah, sure.
My intelligence is it 12 plus 1 or is it?
If your intelligence is 12, then you'd get a +1 to it.
Okay. Yeah, so it's 13. So I'm 30. I hit 30 in total. I got the roll of 17 and my intelligence is
+1.
12 plus 1, yeah. Okay.
So +1 is the modifier. So
okay, so it's 18.
18.
Yeah.
Yeah, you recognise them as bugbears.
That's not good.
No, but they're known to sort of hang around groups. They're a kind of offshoot of goblins, really, but they're much sort of beefier and larger. And these ones don't seem to be sort of really kind of in charge at all or anything. But occasionally, bugbears will take over a goblin tribe by just pure like nature of being bigger and hitting harder.
Okay.
But these ones just appear to be part of the group, kind of thing.
Well, we've seen what we can see, so I'm going to head back to the others.
Yes, as does Apollonia.
So there's they're all sat around a campfire.
There were some big ones.
There are some bugbears. 2 bugbears, 6 goblins. And a large, mostly dead tree, which is probably quite flammable.
I did see that.
I'm wondering if, instead of luring them to us, it might be better to just launch some grease and try and hit the fire and the
Could
tree
be a
and
good
basically
start.
just set them all on fire. It's in a clearing, so the fire's unlikely to spread to the actual main forest.
I mean, there's a lot of leaves on the ground and everything, and it's early summer.
Is that your casual way of telling me that if we start a fire here, Like, the forest will probably...
Only you can prevent forest fires.
I mean, there's no wildlife in the forest anymore anyway.
Fuck it, let's just burn it down.
Oh, no, wait. We're trying to save children.
Who
Let's
needs
not
trees?
Yeah, let's stick to the torch.
You very nearly went with the exact same plan as in the previous combat then, which was just, let's burn it all. I'm noticing a pattern
It's a strong strategy.
Does we mean to go on?
I think we should stick to the torch plan.
Yes, I feel like that cave that I caught a glimpse of, that's... Well, I want to know what's in there. If those goblins are outside of it for some reason,
There
it
might be
seems
something in
reasonable to think that they're keeping something.
Yeah,
in
you
there.
didn't notice any loot or anything around the cave. On the outside.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Seems reasonable to think that maybe we should have a little looky look. Are we going to still divide and conquer? That's the only question here, because one of us, while you guys could perhaps draw attention with one move, and I could pull something else.
Well, it might be worth, if you two think you can distract them and keep away from them, it might be worth me trying to sneak into the cave while they're all out of the camp.
Yeah.
Are you confident, Bork, that you and I could hold off?
I think we could, even if they come to notice we're there, I think we could give them the runaround in the woods. I believe I've got quite a decent athletic count, so...
If you get in a good position before you light the torch.
Pronce is kind of wincing listening to you describing being athletic, thinking to
I'll do that.
himself,
You
like,
can do
I'm not
something
sure if
separate,
I'm
right?
not going to be able to like run around quite the same way that you
Your athletic score comes into play when you're making climb checks and things.
You could climb up and hide up a tree.
True.
You don't have a bow, do you?
He's got a hand axe. Once he's thrown it, it's gone.
can just swing down on people's heads.
True.
Yeah.
Could you throw Pronce into a tree?
Are you strong enough to pick up and carry Pronce?
Well, Pronce is relatively frail.
Out of the three of you, you're the one with the bow, Enothe.
You're fastball special with me.
In the time we've discussed this, I am already getting my torch out. I'm just waiting for someone to light this thing.
Okay, right. Let's just go for it.
Are you looking at the original plan of like try and lure some of them away?
Yeah, we'll just do that.
And
we're gonna light the torch.
Only so much planning can happen. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Light the torch. Right.
Light the torch.
And all get into hiding.
There won't be a map for this bit.
Okay.
That's fine.
And
use our imagination.
the theatre of the mind.
Imagination.
Theatre of the mind. Okay. Right. Okay, so you light the torch. Can I then get a stealth check from presuming you're hiding and not just standing there next to the torch? Like,
well, I'm still in stealth.
I'd need another one if you're particularly hiding.
Fucking stealth, man.
20 plus.
So yeah, you're
got
even better at hiding.
The most hidden. I can't see.
I think I mentioned it
so
last
hide.
time, but like the way stealth checks work is it's basically that's your score for an opposed check. When somebody's looking for you, they'd have to beat that number.
Yeah.
So that's quite hard for me to beat 25 because you've done quite well.
Yeah.
Plus natural 20 is just generally like
You are the knight.
yeah, you're Batman.
You know what, man?
Yeah.
I'm not hitting anyone at any point in this fucking combat.
Yeah. Well, that's the second natural 20 of the night, so that's pretty good.
It's my second natural.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
He was hidden as shit.
Okay, so the torch is lit.
Torch is lit. He's disappeared into the darkness like the night hit.
So
What are you?
I'd like to scurry behind the nearest tree.
Okay,
like
can
some
I get
kind
a
of
stealth
Batman.
check from you as well because you're hiding?
Stealth check. 11 plus 0, so 11.
11. I mean, you're behind the tree. Who knows how well it's going to go? Okay, you went behind the nearest tree.
High
as well.
tension.
Yeah. Bork, what are you doing?
I'm going to sidestep the torch to the nearest bush. Due to my height, I think I'm going to stay low to the ground.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough. Can I get a stealth check from you?
Get down in the bush.
8.
8 total.
8 total. No extra.
You guys are not hiding particularly well, and you also just basically like
I'm not a good roller.
stood next to the torch in the nearest bit of shrubbery.
So not a good
But
roller.
like,
You've got visions of a bush with a very clear, like, somebody's feet popping out of the bottom and the top of your head, and my staff is poking out from the side of the tree, maybe.
okay,
Like I said, we've got to see what happens.
let's see what happens. Okay, so you light the torch. It's still quiet in the woods, so there's not really any kind of signs of movement for a good minute or two. But then you do hear, not like an uproar, but you start to hear sort of in the distance, kind of like sounds like a little bit of a discussion going on over the ridge, and a minute or two later, sounds of crunching through underbrush. Can I get a perception check from anyone who wants to be looking to see what's coming?
Yeah, probably better. Oh no. 11. Sorry.
11. Okay, well you're the one with dark vision anyway.
Yeah.
You, after a little bit, through hearing these sounds, you can see through the darkness as they sort of. It takes a little while, so they're basically coming into the firelight from the torch.
Yep.
You see one of the bugbears and two of the goblins.
Okay.
Quite close together, and they're starting to really rapidly approach Bork, where his position is. I'm going to have to roll to see if they see you.
Moment of truth.
Yep. This could go a couple of ways.
Could be about to explode.
I'm going to do this
This is exciting.
a couple of times. Now, you only had an 8. So...
I'm fine.
You're fine.
On the plus side, I guess if you guys die, I can just kind of
Stealth your way in wherever you like.
Well, no, I'm super hidden.
So
I
just be like, and
at
that's,
this point, I could just sneak into the cave and then just like,
it could just be
That's
like, well,
kind of
that's the
fun.
end of that chapter.
yeah, walk off.
Okay, so you're lucky, and the bugbear doesn't seem to notice you. For the listeners, I rolled a 2. That's for the bugbear.
Two goblins.
Blind.
The goblins, however, do quite quickly see you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, like I said, depending on the situation, I'm willing to give them a run around. If they've not seen you yet, Pronce, then
The goblins have also a gust of wind blows through the forest, and the edge of your robe just swishes out from behind a tree.
Yeah, correct.
You get the feeling you maybe didn't pick the widest of trees to stand behind in your mad rush to be as stealthy as Enothe. You were just like, I am also the knight, and you weren't quite up to the challenge.
I'm more like the dusk.
Yeah. So yeah, at this moment they haven't seen you, Enothe, at all, but you two have very much been noticed.
Okay.
okay.
Right.
Can I get initiative rolls from everyone?
We roll in 20s.
Yes, 20, and then add your initiative value, which is at the top. You've got a +0.
Oh, natural 20.
I got 18.
10.
Cool.
You can't roll for shit.
You can tell I've never rolled a dice game before.
I don't know.
It's definitely a skill.
I don't normally play.
skill.
This is why I prefer card games.
Cards make sense. There's only one side to have.
Okay, so Pronce, you react fairly quickly. What would you like to do? In front of you, in quite a close formation, but maybe 5-10 feet between them, are 2 goblins and a bugbear.
And you say that the ground is covered in dry leaves and what have you, so
Sure is.
perhaps shouldn't set fire to
And also Bork's there.
yeah, in a bush that's probably full of dry leaves.
He was
thinking about it.
Well, actually, can I get a perception check from you?
Maybe he doesn't notice I'm there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
12.
Yeah, you see Bork.
Oh.
Yeah. That would be amazing if the goblins saw you and like you had no idea he was there and you're just like, fireball!
Do we both just kind of look at each other in our crappy hiding places? Like, why did we think this was going to work?
Probably shouldn't have drunk so much earlier either.
I'm going to sober up soon.
Still, I smile over it, look over and smile, just sort of like, we're doing it now, I guess.
Okay, so what would you like to do?
So on that note, I would like to... let's see. I've got a move called Chromatic Orb.
Yeah.
Does that have any area of effect? Can I get more than one person with this? As I understand,
Let's
I can
find out.
like apply an attribute to this or something, so it can be like an acidic orb or a psychic orb or something.
Chromatic Orb, you hurl a 4-inch diameter sphere of energy at a creature you can see within range. You choose acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison, or thunder for the type of orb you create, and then make a ranged spell attack against the target. If it hits, the creature takes 3d8 damage of the type that you choose.
3d8, that's quite a lot of damage potential.
Yeah, it's the difference between you were using Firebolt before, which is a cantrip, and Chromatic Orb is a first level spell. They start at the higher up level spells you go, you start doing a lot more damage a lot quicker.
Do I remember correctly as well that I need to spend the diamond that I've got in my pocket if I want to use this move?
Yes. A diamond worth at least 50 gold pieces. So
I have 1 diamond in
So
my
you've got
pocket.
your one
so
use of this.
This is a one
Yeah.
thing, and I've spent 1 of my gold already, so I'm not getting anywhere near 50 to buy a replacement diamond.
Hey, you never know. You might find another diamond, or you might just stumble across some treasure or something.
I suppose so. Okay, well, the bugbear is pretty bloody intimidating, and as much as it's not seen me, I know that those goblins are going to give it. It's going to know pretty quick what's going on.
As soon as shit starts going down.
So let's fire a chromatic orb at the bugbear. Is my first sort of. I just want to go heavy fast. Let's try.
I'm actually going to give you advantage on this because the bugbear hasn't seen you, so you are sort of sneak attacking it.
Nice.
As soon as this will be break, like he'll know stuff's going on, but at this point, he hasn't seen you. So roll your spell attack 20d20 twice and take the higher.
Okay, we got a 12 and
you got
an 11.
11. You got +5 on that, so that's 17. Okay, so it's dark. You're finding it quite hard to see, but like the bugbear has just about moved into where you hoped it would be. So you spin up your chromatic orb. The diamond evaporates into dust as you decide to give it the type of damage.
I would like to make it poison.
Poison damage?
That
Okay.
feels like a solid move against
A solid move against the bugbear. Okay, so you wind it up and you kind of you hurl it and it goes and strikes it directly in the chest. So roll 3d8 damage.
Okay, so we have an 8, a 4, and a 5.
That's pretty good. So 9, 17. So yeah, the bugbear suddenly doubles over as it's hit by the poison orb in its stomach. It's still standing, but it's really kind of unexpected. Yeah, the shock of it, it hits and it kind of almost sneezes, but like in a spray of kind of black bile kind of comes out of its nose, and it's sort of it's not happy.
Okay,
Is it poisoned?
It's not poisoned. It just took poison damage.
Okay.
It's the difference between basically some damage resistances, like some creatures might be resistant to poison damage, in which case they'd take half poison damage, but they might not be resistant to fire, in which case they'd take the full damage, or they might be vulnerable to cold. I'm not giving you hints here, I'm just saying. Vulnerabilities, you take double damage. Nothing, you take standard, and resistant, you take half.
Okay.
So immune is obviously immune. So, but yeah, he's not immune to poison. So yeah, that is a solid first hit, but he is definitely still up.
right. So they're relatively close to us right now.
I'd put them about 30 feet from you, and they're about 10 feet from Bork in his bush.
Bork's bush.
Okay.
Sounds like a really good restaurant.
I'd like to back up and run into the woods as far away as I possibly can from them, because seeing that I've not taken him down is definitely that's cause to run.
You're almost like, haha! Oh.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, you're now 60 feet from them.
Okay. And with my extra action, I'd like to shout, "Good luck, Bork!"
Such a scumbag.
I'm rooting for you.
Okay, that's your turn. Enothe, you're up next. What would you like to do?
I'm having seen that the bugbear's been hit. I'm going to try and take advantage of this and shoot it.
Sure,
An arrow.
go for it. He's now aware, generally, of you guys.
I'm still stealth.
You are still stealth, actually.
Most stealth.
I'm going to have him roll another perception check now that he's sort of aware that shit's
Okay.
going on, just to see if he sees you. But you had a 25, so this is going to be very hard for me to... In fact, I think mathematically impossible for me to do, but I'm going to roll it anyway because I'm a stickler. No, he definitely doesn't see you, so I'm going to give you advantage on this as well.
So I roll d20 twice.
Wait, have you got sneak attack as one of your things?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
This is where the rogue comes in handy,
Sneak
because
attack, 1d6 extra damage when attacking.
it should be 2d6, I think, isn't it? Or is it 1d6?
This is 1d6 on here.
1d6 extra.
He rolls his normal damage, and then he gets sneak attack damage on top of that because he's sneaky. I'm just going to double check that because I vaguely remember it being 2d6.
I'm on board with it being...
Yeah, I want to make sure so I don't get shouted at by the internet.
Also, I've got True Strike, which is a cantrip. My understanding that is I can target someone and give myself advantage when attacking them next time.
I will tell you in a second.
Cool.
Because
that can be useful as well.
Oh, okay, no. The 1d6 is right. At third level, that'll go up to 2d6.
Okay.
That increases the higher you go. For example, at 20th level, it's 10d6. Which is ridiculous. That's on top.
Amazing.
You do your weapon damage plus 10d6.
That's amazing.
So that's ridiculous.
True Strike.
True Strike. I think that's a spell.
Yeah, it's my cantrip.
Yeah.
You tripping boy?
A cantrip.
True strike.
Oh,
So this actually...
very punny.
If you're going to shoot him, you can't also cast the spell.
No, I know that, but I mean after this, if I want to regain advantage next time I attack, I can do that, right?
Yeah, but you can only do it once per turn.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
that's fine.
So, for example, you can either shoot or do that.
Yeah,
You
no, I
can't-
know.
Yeah. So we're clear.
Yep.
True strike. You extend your hand, point a finger at the target in range, and magic grants you a brief insight into the target's defences. On your next turn, you gain advantage on your first attack roll, provided the spell hasn't ended.
Okay.
It's a concentration up to 1 round, so basically you can sort of do it and concentrate for the next round, sort of thing.
So do it, then attack. Do it, then attack.
Yeah. That's it's a cantrip, so that's kind of not
The
a bad
whole point.
loop to get into, I suppose. But then
Yeah.
it depends what's going on.
Yeah. No, I was looking at it last time.
Obviously, you can't move it to another target. You'd have to cast again. So, like, if that target was then killed by, say, Bork,
Yeah.
it would then,
Fizzle. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm fine with
and
that.
it's only giving you
The
advantage.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's fine.
but that would then at sneak attack. I think you get whenever you have advantage.
Yeah, it says when attacking with advantage.
Yeah. So.
So I'd get 2 d20 rolls and I'd get extra damage if I hit them.
Yeah.
So this seems like a good thing. to
This
do.
is where rogues start getting not overpowered, but like you're really getting into the use of the
Oh, I'm going balls deep. Elf balls deep.
balls
Right.
deep.
So I
That's the weirdest battle cry.
balls deep.
So roll to attack, but you got advantage. So
13, and then roll again. Yeah.
roll again and take the higher of the two.
Is it plus my attack bonus? As
Yes.
well? So that would be 18. And that was 1. So I'm going to take the 18.
Take the 18. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's a hit. Who are you shooting?
The bugbear.
Bugbear. Okay, so yeah, that's a hit on the bugbear.
Yep. And then I roll.
Roll your
2d6.
regular weapon damage
Okay.
first, and then it's best to sort that out first. Then add
Yeah.
the sneak attack.
So I got 6 plus 3, which is 9.
9. Okay, and then do your additional 2d6, 1d6 on top of that.
3 plus 3 again. I guess.
Oh, you don't add anything.
Oh, it's just the extra
it's just
three. Okay.
it's just the dice.
So
extra.
12 damage.
12 damage. Okay, so how do you want to kill it?
I mean, through the head.
Yeah, so like straight between the eyes, like
Yeah,
right in
yeah.
the. Okay, so he's still reeling from the chromatic orb of just poison damage, and he's like, "Ugh," and he raises his head, kind of looking around to see like, and Pronce. I made my way through all three of you then. Well, trying to remember names. You see Pronce running away, and good luck, Bork, and this arrow just flies out of nowhere and catches him right between the eyes, and he gets and he falls over onto the torch, and the torch is sort of inside his mouth kind of thing, and his head is vaguely glowing from the inside.
In the distance, Pronce is looking over with a smile creeping onto his face.
Yeah, so that is one dead bugbear.
Am I now? I'm no longer hidden because I've attacked the bugbear.
Yes,
Right. So I'm going to hide again.
you can hide. Have
It's
you
my bonus action.
as a bonus action? Yeah, you can totally do that. It's normally a full action, but you've got that
Should
as a
I-
bonus action.
I do. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah,
And then I still got my movement as well.
you do.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm going to try and hide. We got. It wasn't as good as normal. I got 12. So
12. Okay.
Better than nothing.
So you're hidden, but they do have to look for you
yeah.
again.
And how
sort of
far
thing.
away am I from them?
Well, what's your movement? Oh, you were about. Let's say you were again another 30 feet, but like kind of in a because we haven't got a map.
I'm going to
in
move another 15 feet away from them.
Yeah, and just sort of dancing around to the side, so you're in a different
Yeah.
direction, maybe,
Yeah.
and
Just kind of moving
circle
diagonally
around
away
them.
from them.
Yeah, cool. Okay, that's your turn. Bork, it's your turn next. There's a dead bugbear in front of you and two surprised-looking goblins.
They are surprised. Are they?
They have seen you though. They're not surprised as in like the game mechanic of surprised, but they are looking confused. But they have seen you.
Why is this short dude on the floor?
Sitting in a bush.
And what happened to that guy?
10 feet away. I started this way. I'm going to continue. I'm going to attack.
You just go run up with your sword.
Well, yeah, and I've got action surge, so I want to do like an additional attack in one turn.
Sure. Yeah. That you don't get back till you've had a long rest, do you? Action surge.
Well, I've had
Per
a nap.
short or long rest.
For a short or long rest. So you could do it now, and then you'd have to take a
No.
rest before you could do it again.
Yeah,
So yeah, okay. So you're
Do
attacking
two
the nearest
attacks.
one.
yeah, with hand saddle with the axes, I think.
You sure the longsword might be?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
do longsword.
Okay. So roll to attack the nearest goblin. Are you screaming anything at them as you run at them, or are you just silent?
The matter has escaped me. It's just a moment to attack. After the last time, where I got horribly injured,
Yeah.
I just want to get this shit done.
Yeah. Maybe don't throw your sword again.
Maybe not throw the sword. Okay. I'll keep the sword in hand. I'm rolling.
So yeah, D20. You don't have advantage on this, so just the once.
Yep.
7.
It's fine. +5.
+5.
So we got 12.
12. I mean,
I swipe at one of them.
you swipe at one of them, and he does dodge, but you're quite close.
Okay.
So luckily, you're burning an action surge, so you get to have another go at him.
8.
Plus 13. I mean, he still dodges again. So you run up. I mean, let's talk it this way then. So you were hiding in the bush, kind of on all fours. You see the bugbear go down in front of you, and you're like, "This is it. This is my moment." You stand up. There's a goblin there. You swipe at him, and he just ducks to the side. You bring your sword back up. You go for an uppercut, and he just dodges back the other way again. And yeah, you are stood there in front of him, looking a little foolish.
Well, that's my action.
That's kind of it, really.
So, yeah. There's not even really room to move or run away.
No, I mean, you're now in melee combat with him, so if you did run away from him, he would get an attack of opportunity on you.
Sure.
Sort of thing. But you're quite hard to hit, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You got a high armor class. Not all is not lost.
Are they, a quick question, are the goblins twice my size? I'm just wondering
It's
for
a
you
good question.
later, half.
They're counted as small. So
in space, a creature that is one size larger than you.
no, they're small, so they are the same as you.
Fair
I think you're small as a halfling. Yeah, because dwarves and upwards are medium, and yeah. So yeah, I mean, nice try. But
try is all you can do.
Star.
they are now 100% focused on you though, as
Well,
Pronce
I've taken the brunt of the
yeah.
the attention, which
You're tanking
what
it.
was the tension, right?
But your armor class again, at least you're fully healed again.
Yeah, I've got chainmail.
Yeah. If anybody can take these blows,
damage from last time.
You're full of liquid courage from the pub.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Go hard or go home.
I offer them a drink.
I mean,
I
no
extend
hard
my
feelings. I got the big guy, boys. Now you can run.
We can do this.
Okay, so now it is the goblins' go. Unfortunately, you are very much the centre of their attention at this point. An arrow came out of nowhere, and a wizard is running away, and is quite a way away.
It's a weird situation.
It is.
for anyone to
I'm
do.
going to say, yeah, this is not their normal Thursday night.
No.
So that's right. It's canonically Thursday. So yeah,
Now we're really role playing.
yeah. Now we know what day it is. It's not even the real day that we're recording. That's how deep into this thing we are.
Which means the initial attack took place Wednesday?
Yep, sure did. Midweek.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
It's hump day.
It's someday.
Yeah. I mean, we all get stabby on Wednesday.
So okay, the goblins are both going to take swipes at you with their
Bring it!
Yeah.
Is what I yell.
Okay, they both miss. Luckily, so yeah, you caught them by surprise. You're not particularly good at hitting them yourself, but you know you definitely have not been not been hurt in return.
Yeah, my athletic prowess has allowed me to survive this turn.
Also, they're not particularly accurate.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Let's pretend it's Bork's.
you are 100.
It's my doing.
You're a fucking hero.
Yep. The crowd cheers.
Yay!
Oh god, he's becoming like Pronce.
Snapping off.
He turns around and says, "Did you all see that?" Speaking of, Pronce, it is now back up to your go.
Okay. So from 60 feet away, can I see still what's going on? Like,
Yeah, I mean, there's
the woods, or
you've kind of. I took it that you kind of just took off in one direction, so you can look back and still see them. It's just quite a way off.
okay. Realizing that, like, I might have ran a little bit too far away, and that I'm kind of leaving the fight behind at this point. I'd like to run 30 feet back in the direction of the
Okay,
fight.
you're back in your starting position.
He's just running.
I panicked, all right.
I like how everything went completely to plan, and you panicked and ran off.
Like, we literally we wiped the fuck out of the bugbear as well.
Well, it wasn't dead when I had the opportunity to run.
That is true.
True.
Yeah.
Had to take-
Okay, so you're using your movement to basically go back to where you started.
Okay, so from there,
Two goblins.
I don't want to use too many of my abilities because we've still got more things to deal with. We don't
We
know
got
what
four
might
more-
be in the
that's
cave.
Four more goblins and one more bugbear.
That's true.
That's it. So I feel like I should probably I'll use a firebolt from how far is the range on that? I could do 30 feet, can't I?
Oh yeah, you can easily do 30 feet.
Okay, so we'll just do a
I think the range
on,
might be 60, but I'm not sure.
Whatever the angle is here, whichever goblin is easiest to hit, that's the one that I'm going for. So like,
they're both kind of close to each other. There's not a lot in it.
I'm just worried about hitting Bork here.
Oh, don't worry, you're fine. No,
that sounds like famous last words.
You're confident enough in your firebolt abilities.
Okay.
I'm just going to check the range on that for firebolt. You can do firebolt up to 120 feet.
Oh, I can easily hit
easily. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so fireball on either of them, I suppose. Neither of them have been hit, so
roll.
Go for it.
Well,
let's see. We got an 11
plus
hit,
5 on your
plus
spell.
5, yeah.
Yep. So on the goblin, that is a hit.
Wonderful.
He's facing away from you, just raising his crude sword to take another swipe at Bork, and he's hit in the back.
Okay, so it's 1d10.
D10. That was a 10 you were holding.
Was it a 10? This one.
Yeah.
Plus 5, so 2 plus 5, 7.
7. I mean, yeah, these goblins are kind of squishy. You hit him in the back, and you just and falls to the floor at Bork's feet with a burning spine.
And let's see, so I'm quite satisfied with having set fire to something finally.
You're like, this is it. This is why I live.
yes.
In celebration from having done that. Oh, no.
Don't get your owl out, please. Don't get your owl.
You can't. He gave it to the girl.
No, the owlbear's gone. Yeah.
He's got the pork in his pocket. He's got pocket pork.
I was thinking that in celebration that a mouthful of pocket pork sounds like a good way of sort of finishing my turn.
You're just flipping a bit into your mouth.
If
like,
there's ever a time for pocket pork.
Yeah, exactly. It takes a little bit of energy using that.
Yeah,
any
sure.
kind of ability.
Yeah.
A little bit of pocket pork.
Pork away.
Hawkins!
I can hold it.
In my pocket.
Okay, so Enothe, what would you like to do?
I'm...
Stealthy bastard.
There's one goblin left.
So because I'm hidden again, would I have an advantage when attacking again?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Again, yeah.
Yeah?
Fuck it, it's my podcast. Yeah.
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 I'm gonna attempt to shoot the other goblin.
Sure, go for it.
Good.
I got 19.
Yeah, it's a hit.
I'm not gonna bother re-rolling because.
That's fine. Yeah.
And then.
So D6 plus.
I got 6 damage there.
6 standard.
Yep.
And
then
sneak attack.
2. So
2.
8.
8 total. Yeah. So again, your arrow kind of catches him right in the side of the head, and he falls.
Oh, it's going super well, guys.
Yeah. No. Great work, guys. All the 3 that came to investigate you are now dead on the floor within the space of about 12 seconds. So good job.
This is the most efficient way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
End of podcast. We're out.
Roll credits. Yeah. So I'm going to split up the XP because you guys were quite smart and pulled them away from that initial one. So I will give it to you bit by bit so I don't forget.
Yeah, that's fine.
So for the 2 goblins, you get 33.3 points each, which I would just round up to 34 each.
Okay.
And the bugbear, being a little bit harder.
Is that per goblin in total?
That's total. I'm basically, because there's 3 of you.
Yeah,
any XP totals you get a third of it.
So that's 174. 169. Sorry.
What, on top of the original?
We're on. So at the moment we're on 300 plus 169 plus whatever the bugbear is.
The bugbear you get. Well, let's round it up actually, because the total for this encounter you each get 100 total.
100.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 200, an extra 235 on top of our current. I put on top of our 300.
So you're at 535.
Yeah.
For listeners at home, we started at level 2 just to give everybody a little bit of extra abilities and health, and because we didn't really want everyone to die in the first episode.
Which would have done.
Yeah, that seems like something you would have done.
It would have been
especially mathematically speaking, based on the amount of damage you took.
So we're no longer in combat.
You are no longer in combat,
but okay.
You didn't make a whole lot of noise either during that. You were all other than the shouting of "Good luck, Bork," and the kind of roars from the bugbear getting hit. It was kind of quiet, really.
Sounds good. Like we've gotten away with it.
I think
4 and 1 left.
The sight of the bugbear and the goblins might creep the other ones out.
It would draw
I mean,
attention
you're
away
a
from the
little
cave.
way away. You're about, I'd say,
Still a fair away, aren't we?
yeah, you're a couple of 100 feet away from the
Well,
encampment.
no, I was thinking we can.
Shall I light another torch?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It worked pretty well the first time.
We might be able to reuse the. Actually, no.
Oh, it's in his mouth. Isn't
It's
it?
in his mouth.
He would have sizzled that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
That's
we
fine.
just do the same again.
But leave it by the
See.
bodies.
Yeah, leave
And then
it.
run
Literally, leave it illuminating
Yeah.
the bodies to creep the fuck out of the other ones.
Yeah.
They're not going to be creeped out. Are they?
You say this in character.
Oh,
here.
you ran away.
You say this. Run 30 feet in one direction.
I came
Run
back.
back again.
I helped kill the bugbear. I
You
wasn't
did.
completely ineffective. I killed one of the goblins as well,
Yeah.
Bork.
that was a good use of a first level spell. And
Bronze.
you got
that
to do.
was
that was good.
definitely the best thing you've done.
Yeah.
I think that setting fire to the house was the best thing I've done. Whatever. I don't get to hold that glory.
You're not
don't get to
you're
talk
not winning
about
any
that, do
points
we?
on your judgment.
But I
yeah.
was just thinking, gentlemen, that you want to lure them back over here. I'm thinking that, like, they're completely unaware over there. If as you said, if we send them over here, they're going to see these bodies and they're going to be on high alert.
Well,
Even-
actually, you would guess that they've already sent
3
people
of their
over
people
here,
disappeared.
but like it hasn't been that long.
it has only been
So-
seconds.
Yeah, I mean, you would maybe guess goblins aren't particularly smart, but they're not the stupidest of stupid creatures.
We may have a couple
Like-
of minutes here to
Yeah,
play with.
I'm
Maybe we
thinking
make-
that maybe we don't need to lure them. Maybe we could get the jump on them where they are right now.
Well, there's still 4 goblins and 1 bugbear in the main camp.
That's 5 between the 3 of us.
So while it is doable, I think if we can split them off more, it'd be better.
Okay.
I do have a sleep spell that we could perhaps take out. If I'm lucky, I could use this on the bugbear, take out the big one, at least put him to sleep for a little while, and then we can focus on mopping up the little guys, surround the bugbear, and just stab him while he's sleeping. What do you reckon?
That's quite sensible coming from Bronze.
Again,
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
That beer is working.
working overtime. You make a mental note to thank Thor and Titus for their amazing homebrew.
Bronze has basically given up.
Yeah,
my
sure.
beer.
We can try that. We'll still have the advantage. So yeah, sure.
Have the high ground.
I'm aboard. We should still attack from different directions.
Yes.
I'd rather flank the camp.
Yes, I think that if you came from the shadows, where you're best suited, perhaps we can follow the trail that the goblins have just come down.
Whereas we seem quite
If you-
messy fight.
If you guys stick together to some degree, because obviously Pronce can't do close range particularly well.
I need
Not
you
that you can either, Bork, but I mean, you're real good at not getting hit in the face as well.
I'm a good, like bait, I guess. Really.
Yeah, credit where
Bronze,
it's due.
you've got mage armor as well, which you haven't used yet, which does up your AC if you cast it, but hasn't really come into
We'll
play.
see if I need
Is
it.
my short rest going to come into effect in the next action?
Short rests. I mean,
After my
this
surge?
is one of the things that I'm kind of house ruling here because
House rules.
it gets. I think as written, short rest is meant to be an hour. I feel like that's a bit long for a short rest because a short rest would be you can take a bit of a breather. That would be like maybe 10-15 minutes. I think is
This
a more
was 10
realistic sort of like okay, you've like say you've been in a fight and you're like right, I'm just going to sit down for a minute rather than be like let's take the whole hour sort of
Would
thing.
you rather go?
I don't think that's too controversial a ruling on that.
Would
really.
you rather go and find somewhere to fall back and regroup?
I mean,
take 10 minutes to search these corpses. They might have something useful on them.
Yeah.
It's worth
If I-
a look. I feel
if it-
like
yeah,
we
I
shouldn't
mean,
walk away from the chance to,
Sure.
to at
We
least check
shouldn't-
these guys' pouches and pockets.
Well,
if they've
I
got
do
any.
like a good. I do like a good body search. So,
We shouldn't stay here too long though, because they will probably send more.
A couple
Okay.
minutes.
So, who's feeling like they want to put their hands in the...
who's feeling like they want some
Bork, you've
feeling?
already kind of hinted that like you're itching to put your hands into these things maybe.
I've got sticky fingers. What can I say? Let's go for it. Can I search the bodies?
Sure, yeah, go for an investigation check.
It's tricky. Considering I enjoy doing this, I have a 0 investigation.
You
so
might roll a 20.
This is true. 11.
It's not bad. Okay, so over the course of about a minute, I mean they're kind of gross.
It's a quick search.
Yeah, it's a quick pat down of these like pretty disgusting creatures. Between the three of them, I mean they're not exactly carrying magic rings, but you scrape together maybe let's call it 60 silver pieces.
Okay.
Like worth of that. I mean, yeah, just for easiness sake, let's call it 60 silver rather than like 5 copper for this. Silver.
beer.
Yeah, silver's the denomination down from gold. So yeah.
Still has some value in the bar.
Okay, so shall we take positions and wait for the right moment? We can wait, like find our viewing areas, let's say, and rest there for a few minutes so that you can get your breath back, Bork.
Cheers. Sounds good.
If you want to take your short rest, the
other two seem to be pretty good without me. So if you guys want to actually just move ahead with the attack, I'd understand.
I think it's better that we stay.
I feel like I need you around.
Yeah.
And there's a look of fear in Pronce's eyes.
Presumably the only reason you're doing the short rest is to get your action surge back, right?
I just wasn't too sure on how my action would come into effect.
Action surge, because you did use it, that comes back after a short or a long.
But I can still do a standard action.
Yeah.
Normally, it's not like you can't attack. It's
that's
just you can't attack twice.
The action surge is just something that you can burn every once to kind of give you an extra attack, sort of thing.
If we're up for like just going.
Let's be honest. If you're going to miss once, missing twice is exactly the same.
Yeah.
So
let's keep going.
Short rests are quite useful because you can spend hit dice, which at this level you have 2 of, to get back health. Which we didn't really do last time. We just had you carted around to town while still bleeding, which we could have just been like, you guys take a short breather and spend hit dice and get your health back.
Yeah, he's like bits of banner in the wound. It was all good.
It was fun.
It was funny, but you haven't taken any damage, so it might just be like a bit of, unless you're like really set on getting your action surge back, it might be. Yeah.
Okay, let's just do this then, guys. So
we're on a
Enothe, you can hide somewhere. Do you reckon? Yeah, it sounds good.
If I go if I attack from the left and you guys go to the right,
let's take positions then, shall we?
Yeah. Okay. Give me a second to rearrange the Photoshop map that I made. Okay, that's about going to do it for this episode. We hope you all enjoyed it. Tune back in next time for the final chapter of our first adventure. We always want to hear your thoughts, comments and questions about the show, and you can get in contact with us on Twitter and Facebook, both of which we are at PretendWithDice. You can also now email us directly at pretendingwithdice@outlook.com. Another reminder again that we're doing a Q&A segment in episode 7, so we're taking any questions you guys might have, so be sure to send those in. Any of the Twitter, Facebook, email, all of that. Finally, if you're listening to us through iTunes, please go ahead and rate and review us. We really want to hear your opinions on the show, and it does help us to reach new audiences. So yeah, that's about going to do it. Once again, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you guys next time.